What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here on Road Graders, and a perfect fit for the name for what happened this weekend with the Baltimore Ravens running all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be breaking down the run game powered today by BetUS. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here. And apologies before we get into it. My voice is still completely shot from being at the game. I kept it loud at the bank, though, so drop a like button for that, too. So let's get into it. This was a dominant performance on the ground. The Ravens put together it officially, statistically, 299 yards rushing, but Lamar Jackson had a kneel down that went from 300 to 299. So I'm still calling it a 300-yard game. But just absolutely dominant by Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. If you look at Derrick Henry's line, 26 attempts, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's with 142 yards after contact, 7 missed tackles forced. Absolutely dominant. Came on 18 zone versus 8 gap. So, we talked about it last week about getting back to the identity of this Ravens run game. And Todd Monken apparently watches the channel, and that's exactly what they did. They got back to their using their zone game as their jab, and then being able to be creative and do some other things. Like we saw the Wildcat play that we'll take a look at. But really what was interesting to me too is Lamar Jackson, 81 yards on 15 attempts. Again, that's 1 kneel down, but making some big plays at key moments. And that's actually where we're going to start, because I was really surprised at how I figured on option concepts, they would kind of stay out wide and try and force Lamar to hand it off and try and be beat that way. But you'll see it. They charge to the mesh point almost every single time, and Lamar made the proper read and just continued to, take it himself and make big plays. And it wasn't just, scramble. It was using the option and doing it at key moments, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, those types of things, getting first downs, moving the chains. That's exactly what this team did. So let's start here with the Lamar Jackson run game. So you're going to see, we're going to be off 2 here. You're just going to see, again, the mesh point get charged. They're going to leave Highsmith unblocked on the backside. You see him charge at Hill, and Lamar takes that for just a quick 4 yards. But right here, you're going to see Highsmith work completely upfield, right at the mesh point. And this is what I mean. I expected them to sit out and force. The reason you do that is because you force Justice Hill to have to run up behind, your O-line that's going to grind down. And you can even see right here to the right, Daniel Falele losing there. So if Hill keeps that, look at the Steelers. They got, obviously, Highsmith wouldn't be involved in the play because he'd be out here forcing the handoff. But you got Rosengard and Falele get beat pretty cleanly on this one. So if Lamar keeps that, or if Hill gets that, he's running right into, the teeth of that defensive front. Instead, they're going to force Lamar to take it. We'll take it. I'm cool with that. That's the beauty of these option concepts. We get the motion zone, and then you'll get a read left here. So he's going to motion him and then zone read to the left. So again, TJ Watt, not even thinking about Lamar. And Lamar's just got free, another first down. So the most surprising part to me. Love the motion mix in here. And again, TJ Watt's your read man. They're going to leave him completely unblocked and take away Hill out of the game. All right, we'll take it. Bizarre strategy. Another one here, 3rd and 1. Same thing. Exact same thing. They want Lamar Jackson to keep these balls. They are all over the running backs. And Lamar's just going to run that behind, likely gets tripped. Would have had even a bigger gain. So it's, again, one of those weird things. Watching it back, that's where I wanted to start, because I was shocked by the approach. They're going to take, you see TJ Watt, Lamar even fools the cameraman. So TJ Watt, again, unblocked on the backside as the read man, all over Derrick Henry. And Lamar just takes this, likely gives him block, first down. Then we got Likely in the backfield here. So again, your read man is Alex Highsmith. And you see he tries to play the mesh point here and kind of play both. So he works upfield and then stops right in front, but he's working upfield and pushing that ball out, because if he's only going to keep it if he's outside of Likely here. But Lamar sees that and then has the athleticism to get outside, cut off Likely. And then we just had this play was basically the one that ended the game. It was 3rd and 1 with 4:44 left. I mean, with this Steelers offense, even if they get the ball back, they would have had to drive the field, touchdown, then you'd probably get an onside. But still, this was kind of the play that ended it, because after this, you're bleeding the clock. It's pretty much over. So 3rd and 1 with 4:44, and the Ravens go back to their roots, and you see they come in with heavy. They got Henry out here wide, likely. They got Ben Cleveland in as an extra O-line, and then Kolar. And then Ricard obviously in the backfield, and they're just going to do QB power. And you see Lamar follow his blocks, key blocks being made up front. Ricard, Cleveland coming down, crashing pretty hard. Right there, Ronnie Stanley with the clear out. So just good power football there, but the quarterback making sure that he ends the game, leaves no doubt. And then we'll get into Derrick Henry here. But again, kind of key takeaways here for you guys. Just again, shocking to me that they wanted Lamar Jackson the ball in his hands. Some of those are not long runs, they're not him splashing. The big ones. He had the one scramble for 20 yards, which was basically a quarter of his yards, but those are key moments. A lot of those 3rd down, getting first downs, that sort of thing. So that's what I mean. That was the goal in this game, was to use the ground game to continue to push the ball. And the Steelers just came out with a very odd strategy. And then you look at Derrick Henry, obviously splashed a couple big runs. But there's a lot of yellow in here where they were kind of keeping him under 5 yards, a lot of 3-yard gains, 2-yard gains, 4-yard gains. And this is where I give the most credit to Todd Monken, because he stuck to the run game. Even when it kind of got bottled up for periods, he kept going back to the well. And then that, with a Derrick Henry type player, that's when you start to splash those big ones. And that's exactly what happened. But I think the reason the Ravens won this game is sticking to the run game, not getting away from their identity, and then the pass game being a perfect complement, because we're going to look at the pass game probably later today, maybe tomorrow morning. But Lamar Jackson, his game went completely under the radar. I think he only had 175 yards passing, but key moments, not getting behind the sticks, 2nd and 12. That's where you're looking at a bad situation, but him making plays, even if it's just 9 yards, now you're in 3rd and short, picking up 3rd and 4 first downs, that sort of thing. His ability to do that was allowing them to stick to the run game, because they never got behind the sticks. Even when they got to 3rd and short, they were able to run the ball, because, it was a 3-yard gain, 4-yard gain, 2-yard gain to get that first down. So that's what was so impressive to me. And Todd Monken just in his bag on this one, very impressive. And we'll kind of see it here. I think he stuck to the zone game as his jab. He did a great job mixing in counter, mixing in power, mixing in they didn't use any trap, but getting into these other concepts that also work extremely well. So they're going to start here 1st and 10 early in the game. They're just going to go inside zone left. And this is what I mean. This is your identity as a rush offense. They're just going to go downhill right off the right or the left guard. Derrick Henry cuts this back. So just really solid blocks here up front. You see Linderbaum and McCary are going to work one tech downfield. Falele with a nice climb into the 2nd level to kind of create that space. And Henry does what he does so well. 12-yard gain there. Obviously, this was just beautiful. So we're in the Wildcat. Lamar's lined out wide here. And the reason that this to me is the perfect scheme meets a scheme call meets execution. So, it's always, is it scheme? Is it execution? Your scheme. So watch, Lamar Jackson's going to jet motion across. Watch the 2nd level of the defense. You got the safety and you got the 2 linebackers, Roberts and Queen. They are both, look at all 3 of those guys go to the right side because they are following Lamar Jackson. That's what Lamar Jackson does. You can't let him, they didn't want him to get the ball on an end around, which is what this looked like. Instead, it's just a wildcat zone. And so you can see it's almost a zone read. Obviously, it's going to look like kind of a split zone where likely comes across to do that split block. But then the execution, you're going to watch Ronnie Stanley. First of all, Patrick Ricard's going to kick out Highsmith and just latch onto him to create this gap. But Stanley and McCary are going to climb this 2-eye tech here and just push him downfield. I think that is Cam Hayward. So right there. So this is the execution aspect. See, they just stick to him. And because everyone's wondering where the linebacker is, because the scheme pulled the linebackers that way. You see Patrick Queen over here getting sealed out by Daniel Falele because that was able to pull. And then there's that stiff arm on Minka. Weird play from Patrick Queen. He had no interest playing football in this game. Queen sees it. Look, he's just not even running back. He just kind of called in sick this game. I don't know. It's weird. So you see them get pulled there. And then Henry just up the field, big gain. But just, I love that. Scheme meets execution. I love to see that kind of stuff. Ravens come out in a pretty heavy alignment here. Josh Jones must have had a season high in snaps. You see him in here as a 6-0 line on the left side beside Ronnie Stanley. He had about 6-7 snaps where they just went 6-0 line. Like, this was true power. Well, it looks like they're going to go power. So the way the Ravens usually do this is they'll motion Ricard to the other side. So he's in a split eye formation right now. They'd motion him to the other side and then just go power. They'll get the down blocks from the left side of their line. Ricard will kick out the edge player, but they're actually going to go counter on. So you're going to go, and this is what I mean. This was Todd Monken doing his thing. That motion, and we're used to that, right? So you're expecting it to be power left once I see this. Instead, it's counter, and Ricard comes back across. So you see right there, counter step Henry inside, and then just hard running inside. And there's Kolar clearing Queen out. Queen got thrown out the club all game. Absolutely dominated in this game. There's Kolar up there. Patrick Queen didn't want any part of this physicality. None of the smoke. He was completely out. Now we're in heavy with a 6-0 line again. On the right side this time. Ravens are just going to go toss. And this is what I really liked is the toss play out of heavy, because, again, when I see the heavy alignment, I'm expecting power, inside zone, that sort of thing. And you can kind of see the defensive line. Watch how they constrict. You've got, excuse me, sorry. You got the one tech here between Linderbaum and Falele. You got a 4-eye tech on that side as well. Then you got the edge. On the other side, you got 3 tech here, 95, and then Cam Hayward out wide, but out wide inside. So they match it with a 6-man O-line. Again, I'm expecting them to run inside. Instead, they're going to take this outside, likely with a nice block. Henry cuts off, and Henry gets out there, makes someone miss, gain of 17 yards. So again, just the way Todd Monken is sequencing plays, they're going heavy, they're running inside, then they go heavy and run toss. That's exactly what we want to see from a play caller that just has a good, I guess the best way to put it is Todd Monken just had he controlled the game. He controlled the game script. He never had to adjust. It was like they came out with a game plan. Steelers couldn't stop it, and he just stuck to it all day. So here we're going to get 2nd and 7. Again, we're in that same heavy, and they're just going to go up the middle. Henry takes that in for 6. Just power football there. Easy power football. Keep going here. Josh, I want to go back and highlight Josh Jones here before we go too far. So Josh Jones is your extra O-lineman here beside Ronnie Stanley across from Highsmith. Watch him right here. So he's going to bang down on 95, and then Landon Roberts is coming. He's going to try and fill that gap. So you got the puller here and Falele coming around for Queen, and then you got that other linebacker coming across. So they got to take care of 6 and 50 here for Henry to have a shot. And there's Josh Jones working through that and gets him into the 3rd level. And we know what happens when Derrick Henry gets into the 3rd level. So big credit to Josh Jones making plays in this game, coming in as a 6-0 line. If the Ravens want to continue to go power, run the football, or not go power, go heavy, I think it's a great option. Obviously, it limits what you can do in the pass game. But if they think they can dominate the Bills front, bring them in and just continue to run down their throats until they stop it. 2nd and 7 here. They're just going to go outside zone, mix it up. And, TJ Watt crosses Rosengarten's face here. And, almost looks like, it kind of looks like a whiff. So Rosengarten's got to climb to his right. So they're going to just, and you see Isaiah splitting. So that's why, see how wide that right foot is for Rosengarten. It's because if this is going to be outside zone right, he has to get to this outside shoulder of TJ Watt, who's lined up as a 9 tech. So actually, he's pretty much a wide 9 because he's outside the tight end. So that's why his step is so wide. But TJ Watt cuts inside because he sees that wide step. So it is a whiff in the sense that, he's missing the block, but he's doing it to try and get outside. It forces TJ Watt inside, but he's able to recover and get him out there. So, still a good block from Rosengarten. It's good adaptation. I think that's Watt taking advantage of that wide scoop step, but it's okay because it was going off of the outside shoulder of Rosengarten. The outside aiming point is where that tight end is. So if TJ Watt cuts inside, that's good for the Ravens. So, good play there. We get into the zone read, and you can see here's the Lamar effect, right? So Lamar's going to go to hand this off. This is one of the few times I don't usually criticize Lamar for this, but you see Highsmith cut inside. I'm surprised Lamar didn't keep this. But he ends up giving it to Henry. And then as he goes outside, you get 3 Steelers stacked up for Lamar. And this is probably because those plays we looked at earlier, Lamar's gashing them with the option concept. So then they're getting their second, third level to focus on him. So as that happens, pulls their second line, third line out of position. You see Linderbaum get down here on Queen. Queen's about to get bitched again and create that space. Derrick Henry, and again, Queen wants no part of tackling Derrick Henry, 48-yard touchdown. So a lot of this created off this option concept, which is actually a veer option because it's not going up to the right side here. So as you can see there, the third line, they line up here, 20, 50, 25, and 39. Line up for Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry is going to take this back inside. Derrick Henry doesn't want to get, or Patrick Queen doesn't want to tackle Derrick Henry. He takes that for a touchdown. Just beautiful, beautiful football. Those two playing together. That's your thunder and lightning look. Now we're getting down into closing time here. The Ravens are just going to go wide zone left. Blocked by Roger Rosengarten here was beautiful. It's going to create that cutback lane. So Kolar and Rosengarten working on the backside. But watch Rosengarten. He's going to come down hard. He's got a 3-tech here. And he's just going to wash him so that it creates that cutback lane right there. That's exactly the type of athleticism, athletic blocks that we need from Roger Rosengarten. He's not going to be a guy that's going to drive. He can be athletic and play that way, getting down, working hard. Love to see it. Now we're going to get heavy toss. Again, we're aligned in heavy. Watch the Steelers match. They got, they're aligned in a heavy D-line formation. Ravens go back outside. Rosengarten. Again, look at Rosie. He's going to seal that shoulder, turn his guy in. Henry cuts inside off of him. So that's how the Ravens got it done. Absolute dominant football in terms of in the trenches. I thought the line played well. They moved guys, but really this was the Lamar Jackson and the Derrick Henry effect. It's so hard to stop those two when they get going, and seeing Lamar's impact on the second and third level of the defense and how that created stuff for Derrick Henry. And then you can see obviously how easy Derrick Henry can make it on Lamar Jackson. So it's just these two working off of one another. It's exactly what we expected when we got them. It's what we wanted to see. And now we're seeing it in the playoffs. So I really think, dominating the Pittsburgh Steelers physically is one of those moments that can just launch a Super Bowl run. So let's go on a run. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. Thank you to BetUS for powering it. And as always, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out.